Welcome back to Success Through Connections. I'm Zelda, your host, and today I have an incredibly wonderful woman that we're going to be talking to. Her name is Manisha Joshi, and she has been in my circle for several years now, and she is just doing some amazing things. She is so creative that I wanted to bring her on today's show to share with you how ideas pop into your head and you can manifest them and you can make them happen. So a little bit about Manisha is she's such a hardworking woman and I really admire her. And I'm going to let her share her story about how um, her daughter had a dream and has a vision of something that she wants to accomplish. And she was just hitting roadblocks all along the way. So Manisha, her mom, stepped in and paved the path. So I don't want to steal the story because it's such a great story. So, Manisha, welcome to Success Through Connections.
Thank you so much, Zelda. It's been a pleasure knowing you all these years. You are a petite powerhouse of just fun, vibrant energy. You're always so positive, ready with a smile and a hug. So I'm honored to be on your show today.
Awesome. So, petite, I'm glad you mentioned the word petite because that's really what we're going to talk about. I am
Yeah.
petite stature. So just like your daughter, she's a petite little girl and she's
Mhm.
adorable. But tell us a little bit about Manisha created a petite fashion show. So tell us
Mhm.
how that really came about.
So my daughter, who is currently 18, has just fallen in love with modeling in probably the last 5 to 6 years, and she loves fashion as much as I do. And in taking her to a lot of these modeling agencies, the door just would shut in front of me on her face. They would say to her face, "You're small. We don't represent girls your size. We don't, represent petites." And I thought to myself, the average age of an American woman here is 5'3". That's petite. And I was just astonished that modeling agencies were not representing the average size of a woman. And so just seeing the disappointment, you can only imagine for a teenage girl what that does to their self-esteem, to their confidence. And seeing her disappointment, I thought, wait a minute, I need to do something. And I told her, I said, and in life, when someone doesn't give you a runway, you make your own runway. And so I came up with this concept called 64 Inches of Style, which is 5'3", the inaugural petite fashion show. And I think you know me, Zelda. When I have an idea, I run with it. And then I think, uh-oh, I got to figure out how to do this. And so I introduced the concept last year. And in all honesty, I had only 2 tickets sold at the beginning of the year. And I really started pushing hard on the marketing, talking to people, telling them about this concept that was completely new to anyone. I mean, I did extensive research on Google on, you know, are there petite fashion shows? Are we being represented? And Zelda, you'll be amazed. Forbes, Fortune magazine, Huffington Post, there are articles on how to stand out as a petite woman so that you can be seen as seriously as someone who's 5'8".
So you started trying to sell tickets even before you had the fashion show organized.
Yeah. And as I was
That's a
selling tickets,
concept.
it was really, and my daughter would come to me and say, "Mom, who's modeling?" And I said, "Well, I have two models. One of them is you, and I have 2 tickets sold. It's going to be a great show." And as I kept sharing the story with people, they were so amazed that, wait a minute, you're doing this for your daughter. You're doing this to represent a population that's not being represented in mainstream media. And the other thing, too, is that as I did more research, there's actors, actresses, musicians, celebrities that are all 5'4" and under, but we don't talk about it. And, I was amazed how many popular individuals that we see in movies and TV in the news. And I thought if they can be successful with their height, why aren't they represented? And so the more I talked to people, the more they were signing up, tickets were getting sold. And on the day of the event, I had 15 vendors, 23 models, and over 87 tickets sold.
Now, I went to this event. It was phenomenal. I was so
Thank you.
impressed. I was expecting to go to a fashion show and seeing models, professional models, going down and your daughter walking down the runway, and that was it. But it was so much more. I mean, you produced an incredible event, Manisha. So tell us
Thank
a
you.
little bit about. I mean, you said you had 15 vendors. They were incredible. You had a photographer there. I mean, a makeup artist there. You had fashion clothing there, like consignment clothing.
Mhm.
You had jewelry there, but you had more than that there. So tell us a little bit more about what you created, the 64 inches of style. This event was incredible.
Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. I really wanted it to be a night of confidence and self-esteem and empowerment. And so in talking about this and formulating the whole idea, I thought, well, I don't just, sometimes people think of, oh, it's a fashion show, it's going to be girls walking down a runway, but I wanted it to be more. And so I actually had four different speakers, one of which was Saloni's own Wilson High School coach Chris McCaffrey.
It was
And in
wonderful.
talking to him, I told him, I said, you coach all these girls, right? They're all sizes, and you get them to come together for, track and field, for running. I want you to talk about that. And his story was really amazing in that he was actually told he couldn't run, that he wouldn't be athletic enough, that he wouldn't be fast enough. And here he is running his own running company. I had Ghost Justin Bordeaux speak about looking in the mirror and telling yourself you love yourself. He had a really brilliant slideshow just talking all about when is the last time you looked in the mirror and said, I love you. I had a comedian, Mike Freed, who's known for Free to Run and Free to Laugh, come and talk about what it's like to be a short, bald guy. And I think one of the funniest things he said was, here we are having a petite fashion show, yet everyone's wearing high heels,
Well, I thought that
It
was
just,
hysterical. Yes, yes.
yeah, it
We're
added
still
so
short
much to
in
the,
our high heels.
yes. And the reason I also asked Melanie Patz, who's also petite, again, I talk about petite powerhouses like you, but I wanted her to open the evening because here she is, a petite individual who can command a room of someone who might be 6'3".
Yeah,
And I wanted to really show my daughter and everyone in the room that size should never be a deterrent to your dreams, ever. It
yeah.
doesn't matter what height or size you are, you can do what you want in this country or anywhere in the world if you're determined. And so it was an honor to have her as CEO of United Way of Northeast Florida open the show. And so many people came to me, and I think this is what really set the tone was we loved that as each model walked out, I had a slide of their name, but
Oh,
not
I
just their
love
name, it
that.
was their accomplishments.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love
Where they
that.
went where they went to school, what they're doing now. Because my message to the audience was these these are individuals like you and me who brush
Yeah.
their
They
teeth and
were
have
not
their
they
coffee.
were not professional models. They were just the average Mary from the street. All
They
sizes,
really were.
large sizes, medium, small, all sizes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
And the other exciting component to it was a lot, at first everyone said, well, who are they wearing, right? Are they wearing a retailer? Are they wearing a department store? And the
yes.
more I thought about it, Zelda, I thought, this is a show. This is an evening about you. And so I told each model, I want you to go into your closet and I want you to pick two powerhouse outfits. If I told you tomorrow you're speaking to 400 people, what would you wear? And so each of the models actually dressed in their own clothing, which, as you saw that night, they were flaunting it. They felt beautiful. They felt confident. Sunglasses, jackets were coming off. I mean,
Hats, all kinds of stuff. And they look
loved it.
fabulous.
They really did. And another thing too is several of the models I had not met till that night. So for me, it was like, wow, they believed in me enough as a complete stranger to come and walk down a runway they had never seen, work with someone they had never met. And so I knew that that's how strongly they believed in themselves to want to represent their petite size in an unknown show, in an unknown runway.
Now, I also know that because I went there, you had more
Mhm.
than just this fashion show and the trade show. You had um a beverage station, you had food. Tell us a
Yes.
little bit about how that came into be. And y'all, I have to tell you, the food was incredible. It was like the caterer was wonderful. But so you brought all of this in. So tell me a little bit about how that came to be.
That was really special because, again, in talking about this show to folks that I knew, they came forward. I had Stacy Smith from Small Cakes Cupcakery say, I want to donate cupcakes. I had Carrie, who runs a business called Mixed Up with Carrie. She donated her bartending services. And everything that night, including the caterer, was funded solely out of my savings account. I did not ask for sponsorships. I didn't want to have anyone, if somebody wanted to donate, that was great. But truthfully, this was a gift to my daughter. And so I really wanted to fund the whole evening by myself. And so we bought the beverages, we bought the tablecloths, we rented the space. And when I say we, me and my bank account. Uh, and so stepping back and looking at the room and seeing everything that magically came together that night, I thought, you know what, God, this was so worth working hard. This was worth all the weekends, all the nights that I put together outside of my working hours. And I will say that where I work at Leadership Jacksonville really influenced this event, because where I work is a place of change makers and leaders and people that are doing things in the community to make it better. And so, part of it really was, Zelda, just being at work and thinking, wait, I am working at a place where we're grooming tomorrow's leaders. How can I not do something? And so it was just really exciting to have this whole night come together, to see the support, to know that all of the expenses I put in were completely covered by ticket purchases. So I'm grateful for everybody's support that helped me make this happen.
So your connection with your job helped you
Mm-hmm.
propel this idea, just reinforced it. Then your
Yeah.
connections through the people who heard about it, they wanted to be a piece of it. So it's
Yeah.
interesting to me how it's never alone. It's always
No.
successful people. They build connections, they build those bridges, and together we're better. That's
Yes.
so I know it was successful. It was a beautiful event. You produced
Thank
it
you.
incredibly first class. I loved how you mentioned the PowerPoint. I loved how it said this person, what their height was, and what they do, what their accomplishments. These are very accomplished women. And when you mentioned something about petite women, it's like, well, that's the fashion industry in general. It's always
Mhm.
skinny little twig girls. I mean, I don't think the average size is a size 2 or 4. I think it's probably
No.
14 or 12 or 16 or something, but it's not these little models that we see. So I loved how you had these everyday women coming out
Yeah.
there, feeling their best and looking their best. It was absolutely fabulous. Now, I noticed that it looks like you did another event, another fashion show.
I did. This was actually produced by my best friend, Nicole Silvestris. So her and I have teamed together for so many fashion shows when I used to have Sunisha Designs, my handbag business. And so in this one, this is the second time she's asked me to come out and MC the event. It was at World Golf Village, and it was a membership based. So for the members of World Golf Village, it was a golf fashion show. And she knows how much I enjoy public speaking. So she asked me to come out and MC it. And again, having my daughter there, model and show everyone. And, she had so many individuals come up to her and say, you should do modeling professionally, you should do. And I would look at them and smile and say, thank you so much. She'd be great. If you find an agency that would represent her size, all the better. And I hope that this fashion show and all the opportunities I'm trying to get from my daughter is a message to all modeling agencies out there that they are missing a huge population of beautiful, successful women that could be on their runways, in their catalogs, in their photo shoots. They're missing out.
Absolutely. I mean, they have big women fashion shows, I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure. So why not small, petite women
Yeah.
fashion shows? It's like,
And
yeah,
look how long it took them to represent plus size women. I mean, it took decades.
yes,
So I hope it doesn't take decades again to represent, petite women. With the success of this fashion show, I am going to take it on to have another one next year. So
great.
mark your calendars for 2/22/25.
Have you ever considered
Mhm.
taking this national? You're good.
I have,
Big
I will
event.
say,
It's franchisable.
it is. You're absolutely right. And you know what, Zelda, with all the business knowledge you have, I might have to talk to you about this after the podcast. I haven't actually thought of it on a national level, but I have thought of it in the sense, how has this not been done nationally or even internationally? Where in a lot of cultures, petite is the norm. I
Oh,
mean, I
listen,
come
my
from,
first thought after the fashion show, honestly, was
yeah,
this is a franchise. That was my first, because I think
wow,
business always, but I'm like, we'll have to talk afterwards because I can see this going global.
wow. I
I,
love
I
that.
I saw that vision instantly. I was like, what is she doing? This is an incredible event. And it was different. It wasn't just your runway fashion show. I'm telling you, I was like, the food was fabulous, the drinks, the networking beforehand. Yes, speakers. I don't know that I'd have so many speakers next time, but other than that, it was an
Yeah,
incredible that it was very different and it was very it was so professional. I mean, if you hadn't done it before, but you've obviously done some sort of fashion shows before, because it was done first class. It was absolutely an incredible event, and
thank you.
I would love to see it go national. You heard it here first.
You are so sweet. And I think what was really beautiful too is I had a lot of help setting up the show. I had a company that came and set up all the chairs. Eric built actually the whole runway from scratch. It was this beautiful navy blue is my daughter's favorite color. So we did a navy blue runway and he did these LED lights
The
all around the
lights going,
runway that just
yes,
it
yeah.
was it was extraordinary. And when you kind of step back and you look at what you've done and you see that the effect that it has on people, you just kind of go, okay, wow, this is something so much more than I thought it would be. When some of the models came up to me from the show and said, Manisha, thank you for taking me out of my comfort zone. I would have never done this. Or, I've never modeled. I mean, that just meant so much to me. And even all the vendors, I met with all of them and I said, I hope you made sales. I hope you made connections. Again, some of the vendors I'd never met before, but they heard about the event and wanted to be part of it. And I think that says a lot about, in Jacksonville in particular, there's so much small business support. There's so much support for art, creativity, for fashion that we just need to redevelop it again of what it used to be before COVID. I didn't want that to, again, I say, height shouldn't be a deterrent. I didn't want to keep having that excuse of, oh, well, this doesn't happen anymore because of COVID. We're long past COVID. We're long past it.
Thank
We need
you.
to
I'm
bring,
so sick of hearing COVID. It's like we're not there
yeah,
anymore.
and we need to bring fashion and arts back into Jacksonville the way it used to be. And so I think folks were really hungry to see a fashion show. And so it was just really exciting.
Fun. It was a fun event. It was a beautiful event. Hats off to you. You did a
Thank
fantastic
you.
job. So I definitely can see this again going. It's not just a local event, speak anywhere, and you could lead the force to make it happen. You and your daughter could be the leaders of this movement. Yes. So let me
Thank you.
ask you. So
So, Zelda,
yeah.
before I'm going to interrupt you and say, being the petite powerhouse that you are, I'm going to see you on the runway next year, right?
I don't know about that. We'll see. We'll
I'm
see.
going to be pursuing you.
I'll be your speaker. There you go. I'd rather be the speaker.
Perfect.
I'll be the
Perfect.
speaker. I'll be a speaker and talk about connections. That's what I can do for you.
You got it.
So
Done.
that I'm happy to do for you. Oh, that's it. And I'll wear my best.
I
So,
love it.
Manisha, if someone has an aha moment, they would like to reach you, how can
Yeah.
they get in touch with you?
I'm happy to share my cell phone, which is 904-708-2656. If they prefer to email me, my email address is Manisha, Manisha, at styled with a D by Manisha.com.
Very good. And this, is not just a local show. This goes everywhere. So
Yay!
yes, yes. So there you go. Manisha Joshi with Styles by Manisha, right? Or is that
Style
it?
by Manisha, yes. And please keep in mind that for everyone out there, again, never let size come in the way. Never think that because you may be the shortest one in the room or the petite one or the plus size one. There are so many people out there achieving incredible things in all industries. And this evening, 64 inches of style was just one example that, someone doesn't give you a runway, make your own.
That is so true. So, Manisha, thank you again for
Thank you.
taking some time to talk to us. And don't forget to our audience that build those connections one connection at a time, because it does take all those connections to help you be successful. So keep making your connections. And until next time, this is Zelda with Success Through Connections.